Hey everyone, Jarek here. I'm a dragon on the internet, and I am mainly known for playing first-person shooters. But one of the comments I get fairly often is, what other games do you play? Usually put in a much more negative tone. Something more along the lines of, why don't you play anything else? You're so close-minded, you're bad at video games. Well, to you, angry, negative person in my head, I would say you are the reason. You see, when your channel takes off for something on YouTube, if you make any kind of content that isn't that thing, it simply won't get views. If your subscribers don't click it, well then it won't get put into YouTube's algorithm, and then your video bombs, and then it kind of tanks your channel in the algorithm. It's a repeating process. Your next question is probably, well then why do you care about views if you're just enjoying what you're doing? Well, because this is my full-time job. As reality has to hit, I do need to make money to pay rent, and I like not being homeless. I do really value all of my viewers that stick around no matter the content I'm making, but people know me for first-person shooters, so I gotta give them what they expect. And to be fair, I still really like first-person shooters. Don't make that sound negative. I enjoy the games I am playing.
In conclusion, this game gets me annoyed. That's the end of this video.
Mostly. So instead of tanking my channel by making a bunch of different content about games that people won't click on and won't care about, I decided to take my channel with one video that people won't click on and just talk about those other games that mean a lot to me. And by other games, I really do mean other genres, things that aren't first-person shooters. Third-person shooters. What? Okay, this is kind of cheating. Obviously, if you're into first-person shooters, you're probably into third-person shooters, but I don't usually cover third-person shooters, so I had to mention them here. I won't dwell on third-person shooters too much. I will say I vastly prefer first-person, but I still really do enjoy third-person shooters. I've covered some of them on this channel, and they seem to do okay. I'll probably cover a few more in the future. I have some in mind. So it shouldn't be a surprise that I like Gears of War, and I played them when they were new and they came out. Side note, why is it they've remade Gears of War 1 twice now, when Gears of War 2 and 3 do not exist on PC yet? Port them to PC already! I mean, seriously, they could have done a Master Chief Collection kind of thing and just put the whole trilogy out there, especially if they're gonna put it on PS5, just put them all out there. Especially with the new Gears of War game coming out soon. Anyway, like I said, there's some other third-person shooters that I would love to cover on this channel, but are a little bit more difficult to cover. Army of Two is a great example. It never came out on PC, and the servers have been dead for a long time. I don't really feel like recording split screen. I feel like that would make for a really ugly viewing experience. So I'd have to figure out some way to finagle a fake online connection to play with a friend elsewhere without a ton of lag. Monster Tamers, or creature collectors, Pokemon style games, whatever you want to call them. See, I was born in '91, which brings up a funny point. Depending on how mad people are at me and how different their opinion is, I am either a Zoomer that doesn't understand games and haven't played enough of them, or I am a Boomer who is bad at games and out of touch. As it turns out, I'm 34 and solidly a millennial. Anyway, since I'm a millennial, and I was born in '91, obviously I'm into Pokemon. But it extends far past just Pokemon. I'll get to that soon. Let's focus on Pokemon for now. I distinctly remember coming to school one day, and suddenly Pokemon was just everywhere. Everyone had Pokemon cards. I had no idea what any of this was, but it's here, and it's stayed here ever since. Since that day, I went home and started watching the Pokemon anime, but even though I was watching that show religiously every single week on Saturday morning, I didn't play Gen 1. I never got Red or Blue, or Yellow. In fact, my first Pokemon game wasn't until Crystal, and I played it on my Game Boy Advance, since it was backwards compatible. This, of course, was the original Game Boy Advance, not the SP, so it didn't have a backlight. But I still did what any child would do by putting a flashlight underneath my shoulder and playing it in bed when I should be sleeping. Anyway, I remember the day I got Pokemon Crystal. I bothered my parents constantly to let me get it. You see, I live in the Pacific Northwest, and I went camping a lot growing up. Like, every single month. There is so much nature up here, it's kind of unavoidable. I bought Pokemon Crystal with my own money that I got by working odd jobs for people because my family didn't really have money, so I didn't have an allowance. But I bought Pokemon Crystal with my own money at Walmart as we were heading out to go camping for a week. And that whole week, I just sat there, playing Pokemon Crystal. To be fair, I've always been more of a physically active child. I've always preferred to go mountain biking or surfing, or I want something to do, and sitting around a lake is kind of boring to me, so hey, Pokemon. Looking back at it, I have no idea how I beat Pokemon Crystal with no internet access as a child. I mean, I was only 10 years old at 2001, and for the most part, Crystal's very easy and straightforward, until you get to certain points, like trying to get rid of the Sudowoodo in your way. I remember getting stuck there for quite a while. But still, after watching the show and being able to actually play through this, well, I beat Pokemon Crystal with my overleveled Typhlosion and basically nothing else, as a child would do, and then Kanto opened up entirely. I got a surprise brand new region out of this. This pushed me to basically not need to buy Gen 1, so I never really played it outright. At least until it got remade 20 million times anyway. My point here is that I have these memories with every Pokemon game. I bought every single generation. Without fail, I have a physical copy of all of them, and they're all in pretty dang good condition. Hell, my Soul Silver box still has an unopened Pokewalker in it. I know that's worth a lot of money, but I'm not selling that. This stuff means way too much to me. Pokemon's the one thing that's kind of always been there, and I really do appreciate it. But it's also led to just an enjoyment of this genre as a whole. One of my other favorite games is Nexomon, which is pretty much Pokemon, but if Black and White didn't stay stagnant. Now, the first Nexomon started as just a mobile game, and then they released an expansion for it. Eventually, they tied those two together and ported it to PC, getting rid of all the microtransaction stuff. This is a solid game with a really good story, but it pretty much is just Pokemon with quality of life features. The second game, Nexomon Extinction, is where they really dialed things up. For example, right away, right out of the opening cutscene, you can go anywhere on the map and catch anything, and then the game scales up to you as a balancing mechanic. That's just one example. There's so much stuff like this that Nexomon does, and it's genuinely a better game than Pokemon, and keep in mind, I love Pokemon, so that really says a lot if I'm saying this game is better than Pokemon. The third one's in the works, and it's supposed to be proper 3D open world. We'll see how that turns out with Nintendo suing everyone. Yeah, that's the kind of negative thing here. As much as I love Pokemon, there's the stain here of Nintendo just being a pile of garbage to everyone. Doesn't matter if it's their fans, doesn't matter if it's other companies, Nintendo just likes to be a piece of shit. As for the Pokemon games themselves, a lot of people say they suck nowadays, but I still enjoy them. Aside from the Gen 4 remake, that one never happened. To list one more game in this genre, that's Cassette Beasts. This game is really not like Pokemon. It's definitely the same genre, and if you just look at it at a glance, it's Pokemon, but when you play it, it's certainly not. This game is really good. I am not going to say much more. This video would be way too long if I wanted to talk about it more, but I would highly recommend. My Steam library is just absolutely chock full of these kinds of games, so yeah, this is one of my secondary genres. I really do enjoy them. It is a regular thing for me to just lay in bed for an hour or so before going to sleep playing Pokemon. Hell, even though I'm not into Pokemon card games, I've recently gotten into Pokemon Pocket because collecting shiny fake Pokemon cards for free is pretty fun. Platform fighters. Alright, this one might take a little bit of a while because boy do I have a backstory with this genre. Like most people my age, I played a lot of Super Smash Bros. Melee. Even though that game came out in 2001 when I was 10 years old, I was still playing it in high school after class. My friends and I really enjoyed it, and it's not much of a surprise that Melee is wildly successful. Yeah, I know, a lot of people loved it. Now, at this time, I wasn't super competitive, obviously. The competitive scene wasn't anywhere near as big as it is now. I was mostly enjoying playing, well, the game, the feel of it. It was just so fun. I mean, I was playing Roy at the time. It's not like we really knew that that character sucked. But as time went on, I slowly got more into competitive Smash. Especially when a little mod called Project M came out. Project M was a mod to Brawl to make it play more similar to Melee, and balance out the cast. I really got into competitive Smash around this time. If you're not into Smash, you need to understand that there's two different feeling sort of genres within Smash. You have the things inspired by Melee, and then you have the later Smash games. They feel wildly different, and Melee tends to be a bit faster and have more expression in what you can do in the game, so it works better competitively. But that in no ways means that you can't enjoy it casually. So that's where I was with PM. I kind of enjoyed it on both sides. It has some crazy, wacky items and crazy, wacky game modes, but it also is probably the best balanced competitive Smash Bros. Game, and I really enjoyed it. Until our good old friend Nintendo came back and tried to shove it deep into ground. And they did. They basically killed it off in 2015. All different majors for Project M nowadays are underground majors, but for a while, they were just gone. Well, coincidentally, 2015 is the exact year that Rivals of Aether came out. Now, I wasn't going to give Rivals of Aether much of a chance because, well, I already had PM, and why would I pick up a pixelated version of that? Well, the silver lining to Nintendo being a complete piece of shit of a company is that I gave Rivals of Aether a chance, and it immediately clicked with me. It's definitely more inspired by the Melee side of things, but it plays like its own thing, and I got really good at it. Not enough to win majors or anything like that, but enough to be making top 8 at my regionals, enough to PR every single season in my local region.
Jarek is very good at assisting.
100, Griff's already at 100. Oh! Immediately, first stock save.
I don't know, they could do more. They could do better.
Oh, what a save! Was that on purpose?
There's no
He's
way.
Such
There's
a brainiac!
absolutely no way that was on purpose. That was absolutely on purpose.
Goodbye. You thought you could teleport to me? Oh, the night.
That was
the save almost from.
Oh!
This game is going by so
Uppy.
fast. It is
Bro,
so
they are
fast.
in sync.
Oh yeah, that'll do it. A
Great
very
read
strong
on
leap.
attack. Yeah, definitely not something that Jared can't come back from.
Oh,
my
no
God.
way!
You're kidding.
We're in a smash, actually.
Ooh, there it is.
Yeah, see? Exactly.
Oh.
Sweet
Yeah, you can see Octagon laughing in the camera there. He knows. He knows he got played.
In fact, I ended up running the local scene. I still do. For almost 10 years now, I've been running Portland's Rivals of Aether scene. In fact, right now, as you were watching this video, I am running the biggest tournament I have ever run, with support from the devs, who tossed an extra 2K into the pop bonus. I'll get back to here in a second, but keep that in your mind. So, Rivals of Aether came out in 2015, and the local guys tried to get a scene going. They ran weeklies at a venue called Epic Gaming down in one of the southern suburbs of Portland, Milwaukee. Spelled like this, by the way. Genuinely how we spell it here, just to trigger everyone that lives in the other Milwaukee. Well, as it turns out, having a weekly was just a bit much, and it quickly died off. Not too long after that, I ended up coming across the owner of this venue at a furry convention. Yeah, he was there running the gaming room, for free, which should tell you what kind of a business they are. Well, when I told the owner what we would need to thrive, his answer was, yeah, no problem, we can set up a stream for you, we can run the stream for you, we got setups that we can set up and have ready to go at the venue. All it required was a cheap venue fee of $5 to sign up. I then talked to all our local players and we determined that a monthly is the best way to go. And ever since, we've been doing well.
When were you born? What year?
2002.
Shrek is older than you.
Oh my God.
So out of Project M being shut down by Nintendo, and me happening to come across Rivals of Aether, and then happening to come across the store owner at a furry convention of all things, I ended up running the local Rivals scene. The world is just nuts sometimes. Our small monthlies eventually led to us running larger tournaments like Major Upset, which was a major for Smash, which had thousands of people there, and it was the biggest Rivals event I had ever run. I also cared a lot about the game and just had a lot of fun watching it. You see, one of the things you need to know about the Pacific Northwest is that we're really far away, so traveling is really expensive for us. I couldn't really travel throughout the country, I just didn't have that money, so I couldn't go to all the major events. We didn't have any here, so I was just making my own. But before I made my own, I was making tournament highlights of these events. I wanted to share the game. You probably remember those being on this channel. They actually did okay. That is until Don't Park on the Grass 2018, which was happening in Seattle, just not far from here. I made damn sure that I wasn't going to miss it. And while I was up there, I mentioned something about getting a little burnt out for making so many tournament highlight videos because I was just doing them out of pure love, I guess, and the devs overheard me and said, oh, we can just pay you to make them. So for a while, I was being paid by the devs to just make tournament highlights. At the same time, I was also running a podcast with the, at the time, best Crag player, and we would just pull in top players every single week to run that. But Don't Park on the Grass in 2018 is the only RCS event ever in the Pacific Northwest. RCS stands for Rivals Championship Series, which is the official series run by the devs. It has points on the line and more money involved. Also, in-game benefits, usually skins are made for it. These events are the big ones. It was always a goal to have an RCS event. Major Upset was close, but it happened before the season started, so unfortunately it couldn't be one. To this day, the only RCS event in the Pacific Northwest was Don't Park on the Grass 2018, 7 years ago. Until this weekend. As I mentioned, right now, I am running a RCS event for Rivals 2, which just came out this year. It is mind-blowing to me that things just kind of led me to this path. I really do like the game, and even though I haven't played Rivals 2 anywhere near as much as the first one, I care for the scene. It's been a lot of fun running these events, even if it has been extremely stressful. The only thing happening today on Friday is doubles, which won't be streamed, but tomorrow we will be streaming both singles and top 8. So if you want to check that out, I'll put a link down below in a pinned comment. You'll see me on commentary for the beginning of top 8 if you want to drop in and check that out. So yeah, to say I don't play other genres when I put this much time and love and dedication into a game like Rivals is really funny to me. I mean, hell, I played more Rivals than 99% of first-person shooters. I think the only games I played that have more time than the first Rivals is probably Rainbow Six Vegas and Fear Combat, which are the 2 games that I took competitively and also won tournaments for. So yeah, I like this genre a lot. I find it to be a lot of fun, and on any given week, it's a possibility that I put more time into plat fighters than I have shooters, even though I stream shooters every week. It's certainly a secondary genre for me. But let's move on, I've stayed here too long. Racing games. I played a lot of racing games when I was younger, specifically more of the off-road variety. I remember playing a lot of Dirt 2 and 3. I remember when I was younger, I played a lot of MX vs. ATV Unleashed, and I played a hell of a lot of Monster Truck Madness 2. In fact, this is the exact garage from Monster Truck Madness 2, which is why my lighting is all kind of weird. No, this is not a green screen, this is a real world. Man, I have so many memories playing this game. It shouldn't be too much of a surprise that the person that pretends to be a large dragon that also likes metal is also into monster trucks. These things are cool, I go to events every single year, but most of the racing games I play nowadays are because of monster trucks. Granted, most of Monster Jam's games are ass. We have yet to get a proper simulation-style Monster Jam game. I don't want all these crazy, stupid, wild physics and all these dumb events or off-road fake racing. I want to do what they actually do in the stadiums. I want realistic physics. I want a good game. We do have BeamNG to cover for that, but it's not the same. It's not like you can really race your friends in BeamNG in a proper way. There's no career mode or anything like that. Regardless, those are the types of racing games that I put a decent amount of time into. And if they ever make a good, genuine, authentic monster truck game, I will be all over it. Yes, that is pretty accurate height to a monster truck. 10 feet tall? About the same for a dragon. Part of me wants to see a dragon trying to fit into a monster truck. Hold on a second. I think it'll work. Also, you guys can't hear it, but this world is blaring the Monster Truck Madness 2 soundtrack, and oh my god, it's so good. I mean, I'll have it playing in the background, but like, I miss these kinds of soundtracks. It's just so good. Survival horror games. This is where it needs to come with the asterisk of mainly Silent Hill, mainly old Silent Hill. I am convinced to this day that Silent Hill 2 is the most beloved game of all time. I've never heard anyone talk negatively about it. Everyone just gives it so much love. It means so much for so many different people. And I'm so glad to see that the remake did as well as it did. I'm also very happy to see that they're remaking Silent Hill 1. As much as I like Silent Hill 1, boy, I don't like dealing with tank controls. Really just no notes, man. I could just take in the environment of Silent Hill 2. This world I'm in, the VRChat world, that's where I'm recording this, has the entire town of Silent Hill 2. Or Silent Hill. Just the town of Silent Hill, you know what I mean. Seriously, the music, the story, the everything. I cannot ramble about it enough. I think it's one of the few other games that would actually do well on my channel. Maybe even taking a look at the PSP Silent Hill game that was actually pretty decent and isn't talked about too much. Silent Hill is of course not the only old-fashioned survival horror game I played, which is usually my preference, the older style of survival horror like Silent Hill, but you get my point. It's the perfect example. Am I saying more things to stall myself from leaving the Silent Hill world because it has the soundtrack playing in the background? Yes. Do I care? No. I love Silent Hill, man. And the last game I'm going to talk about, if you can really call it a game, is the one I'm in right now. The one I've recorded this entire video in, VRChat. I have spent a ridiculous amount of time in VRChat. You see, the problem with having a job that revolves around games is that when you're done editing that video, when you're done with that work for that game, you kind of don't really want to play games. You kind of want to sit there and relax. And that's when I spend most of my time on VRChat. Whether I'm just laying there with friends watching movies or participating in this. This is a world that was used for a convention in VRChat called Virality, and I have a ton of fun attending every single year. It is impossible to explain what VRChat means to me. It's a social hub, a place where I can meet all my online friends or even my local friends that live here. A place where you can be anything you want to be. I don't need to explain why that's appealing to me, but you can do pretty much anything in VRChat. It's kind of crazy what people have done. Whether it's just hanging out or attending events or playing games in VRChat. VRChat has so many games, a lot of them just kind of ported directly from Roblox for some reason. In fact, I have my own game group and I run my own sort of games on VRChat every single Sunday. We usually play a game called Tamers of Nowhere, which again, is one of those games that seems to be ported directly from Roblox.
It just teleported in front of us.
I still hear it. There it is. There's social games and drinking games, but I'm not really into either of those. There's PvP games, but the online connection kind of makes it a little bit awkward. So PvE, or just some kind of party game, is the best thing you could do in VRChat for just having fun, playing games. Probability Labs is another good one, where it's just pure RNG, which leads to hilarious situations. Well, if it lands on me, I'm fucked. Well, I'm fucked. I will stab it. Oh my god, that worked! Why did that work? This is not remotely a comprehensive guide to all of the other kinds of games that I play, but it's just a few of them I wanted to talk about. Games mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, and as much as I despise what Nintendo has been doing, as much as there's a bunch of evil background stuff you could say about Pokemon nowadays, I still cherish all the games I have, all the physical copies, how much it's always been there. I still enjoy all of these other games, all these other memories I've made. It doesn't have to be a first-person shooter for me to enjoy it, and I just wanted to talk about something else. Next week, I'll go back to my usual style of content. A huge thanks to my YouTube members, especially you, Retro Ronin, and Tyler, just a couple of many that get to see my videos early, before anyone else. And in general, as I say every single video, thank you so much. You guys pay some of my rent, and we all know how interesting times have been lately. If you want to support me in other ways, then here's a whole bunch of videos that aren't really like this one, but more like my normal content. Here's a bunch of recommended videos. That's where you can subscribe, over there. And that is my Twitch account, if you want to come hang out with me while I'm streaming. Thank all you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.